tell you about this interesting question that I received yesterday from one of our viewers over on X that I wanted to address. He asked me specifically if I saw black plastic fragmentation over the floor of Charlie's SUV. I was immediately struck by this question because I am not kidding when I tell you that the very first thing that I noticed when I went through those photos of Charlie's SUV, I said to my team that it looked like there were shards of glass, like tempered glass that you might see if you drop or break an iPhone. It was very distinct to me in the picture from the blood that is all over the seats and all over the floor. I was like, oh, maybe like someone broke a window or something. And then I sort of put it out of my mind. And particularly, I noticed a lot of it spread across that back seat rear floor. So I'm going to show you that, just a couple of photos of that close up so that you can see it, what that looks like, because, yeah, it was just kind of a compelling thing that he noticed something that I noticed, and you can see it was unusual. I think in this person's mind, the line that they were going down, I guess the line of questioning that they were going down in their own mind was, is this evidence that something broke on Charlie? Could something have been rigged? And I want to say that we can't necessarily extrapolate that from what we're looking at. It could be 1,000 other things. Somebody could have actually broken a phone in there. Somebody could have had something in there. It could be broken hard candy. I mean, there's a lot going on. And yeah, but I did want to address that because it was interesting that he noted it and asked if we saw little black bits, and I do. That is visually what I see. I am hesitant, by the way, to put up the rest of the photos, kind of still going through that. I want to be slow on that because obviously I don't want the federal officers, the good guys that are in there who have assisted in this, to be rumbled, right? I don't want people, cash to go on a hunt and figure out who gave us what, and people to start getting fired. We need to have the white knights in government. So I just need some time to think about that. And yeah. Anyways, what we can do, however, and what we're starting to formulate now are just addressing these data points, right? These mysterious circumstances, these things that don't necessarily make sense. What do we actually know about that day? And what's really interesting for me is when I review these data points, I can't fathom how there are people out there right now trying to convince you that there is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson committed this crime. There's no evidence outside of these shady messages that are not even time-stamped. We don't have a confession from him. We have nothing. Okay, so these are just some data points for you to remember as we go through this. The surgeon never confirmed or even suggested that Charlie was shot with a .30-06 or that Charlie had a steel neck that stopped that bullet. Rather, he suggested throughout the course of a conversation that maybe a frangible bullet was used. The lone confirmed eyewitness that we have that is confirmed to the alleged shooter on Losey Center rooftop before the sound goes off, the sound of a shot rings out, has not been contacted by the lawyers or the investigators on either side of this trial, the pending trial. We are now in the phase where investigators are supposed to go out and be collecting more evidence pending the May probable cause hearing. He still has not been contacted. And why is that crucial? Because this individual is an instructor at a gun range. He claims the weapon that he saw looked more like a .223, quote, something shorter than the one that they found. The person that he observed was wearing what seemed to him to be black tactical gear plus a face mask, and he describes that person as looking like a professional. The bomb dogs were unable to locate the weapon in the field where it was eventually discovered, despite the fact that they had crawled over that area. They just weren't on their game that day. This is not my favorite part of the story. It's just I just didn't expect the reaction to be what it was. I just love the people that are like, no, absolutely, we are done with the Fed slop. Instead, what happened was federal agents directed local officers to the weapon. Lucky feds. The canines were not provided with the scent of the weapon once it was discovered. So they did not then take that weapon and then have the dogs trace it back to the top of Lossie. That did not happen. Terrell Farnsworth, still major question marks. He raced to remove the camera that was directly behind Charlie's head. I want to tell you, by the way, I'm reading myself into this, so not a data point, but in my mind, when I imagine why he might have done that, I think it's because they were going to go with this story that a 30-06 hit Charlie Kirk, and what debunked that obviously would be seeing that it didn't go through. There was no evidence of what should have been a tremendous amount of damage done to his neck. I also want to say here, because I've heard that various people like Terrell are getting death threats. Obviously, if you're watching this show, we are investigating what happened with Charlie Kirk. I have been clear that I do believe that there are some people that are engaged in a cover-up. I am never giving anybody the permission to, go be a bandit and go outside and take the law into your own hands. That's not what we should ever be doing and engaging in. Next data point that we have, federal agents prevented the surgeon from returning to his operating room. I told you that was something that startled him, and he placed a call, presumably to D.C., to make them move because he wanted, obviously, the team to get back in there to clean it, to make sure that Charlie could get cleaned up before Erica came in. Federal agents removed the hospital surveillance footage. They're on a manhunt. And for some reason, that seemed like something that they should do. That strikes me as tremendously odd. We have that the vehicle in which Charlie was transported to Timpanogos Hospital was not impounded by law enforcement. It's very odd. And there were multiple sets of prints on the weapon that was found, something that I did not share with you, but I did know this for some time, and I can confirm this to you because that's one of their things. They got the prints of Tyler Robinson on this gun. There were multiple sets of prints that were on the gun that was recovered thanks to the instincts of the feds and not the noses of the dogs. And finally, and I think this is a big thing, the footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in is apparently missing. And I have told you guys, and again, I'm reading myself into this, that in my investigation, I found that their entire story about how the parents turned him in and did the right thing is crap. It is BS. That's not what happened. They were told either, these doors are going to get broken down or you're going to come in peacefully. And Tyler chose the latter. I also was told by police officers that were there when he came into the police that they were told not to look at him. They were told to avoid cameras. Very strange things that happened when he did eventually come in. And we won't know how strange because apparently the footage is missing, according to local Utah news, that they didn't say a FOIA. There's another term. What was it? Gamma requested for that footage. And we're basically told, well, now there's been an expiration on that footage and we don't have it. So maybe they just mean they already handed it over to investigators. I don't know, but we will wait and see. That's a lot that is going on. I want to pivot now because our instincts, which they keep mocking us over, I think are on the money.